Oh, it does.
Let's check it out. If I pull it down, if I turned it and tighten it a little bit, see how close I am to the
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it needs to come. Just turn it just a little bit.
So we're running live at the moment.
Hey,
Steve.
what's going on?
So haven't been able to get to the live part of my screen here yet, but there we are. There we are. There's the live. Hey, folks. We are sitting here with Steve Spurgeon. We are currently in Beatrice, Nebraska. And what's that? Yeah, we're at the 402 Sports Bar. You're welcome to come by and say hi, and let's kick it together. We'll be here till 6 p.m. So we're about 2 hours more. We do have some individuals that will be coming by, but it's nice of Steve to show up, and I think that we'll open this out. What do you think about Wake Up in the USA? Actually, Let's Save America is not heard nearly as much. What do you think?
Right.
So,
well, this is the, of course, the acoustic.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about that.
Well, this is the acoustic version. And, when I wrote this song, Let's Save America, it was called SS America.
SS America?
That's how I thought of it at first, because like a ship. And yeah. Like America's this big ship, and we're sailing out through eternity. And it's sinking. There's cracks in the hulls, and it's going down. But it really doesn't matter what side of the ship you're on. If it sinks, we're all dead.
That's right.
So it just makes it so vital that we have to look past our differences and really think about how can we serve the least of us, the people who really need the most help. I mean, you can have cancer in your little toe, and it's just a little tiny in your toenail, and you could be in the best shape in the world. You can be a bodybuilder, you can be a triathlete, but if you had cancer in your little tiny toenail, you would stop everything and you would fix that, because eventually that would creep over your whole body and kill us all. So it doesn't matter how well you've got it going on, how comfortable you are. If you can't empathize for other people, then eventually the country's going to be done, and your situation will be done too. So the
country is really needing unity right now to fight against what it is that's trying to take us down, the evil that's trying to take us down, right?
Well, evil's here.
It's here.
It's already here. But we have to stand up and really decide that which side am I going to be on? And that side is not a Republican side. That side is not a Democrat side. That's a side of right and wrong. Is it right to be a hypocrite, or is it wrong to be a hypocrite?
Right.
Is it right not to care about other people, or is it wrong to not care about other people? Is it right to point the finger and scapegoat other people for their own problems, or is that wrong? So that's where I put my focus. What's right and what's wrong. And I don't always do what's right.
Right.
But I know that if I do wrong, since my heart desires to do what's right, then if I can't hold myself accountable, I give people permission around me to hold me accountable, because they know that's the desire of my heart to do right. So this song was called Let's Save America. Check it out. Everybody's feeling like they gotta take a stand. Let's all stand together, and together we'll understand that we're all in the same boat sailing along. If you wanted to be here after we're gone, seal up the cracks, keep the hull strong. Let's save America. storms are gonna be rough as we travel across the sea. I know we're gonna make it, 'cause I got you and you got me. Now there's one thing I know right down to the letter. If we really want to see it get better, we're gonna have to do it together. Can't you see? Let's save America. Let's save America. We gotta get back on course. If they won't listen to our voice, we'll shout it out louder. Through any kind of weather, we can make it together, yeah. Let's save America. Let's save America. Yeah.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. All right.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
We've been seeing a lot of things that have been going on in this country over the last few years. And with what's going on in America today in 2022, what are your beliefs in what's going to fix this problem?
What's going to fix this problem is people who are in situations where they feel like I'm okay, is to come out of their comfort zones and start looking for the problems and make a difference yourself. I mean, it's like I was talking to this guy on Facebook one day, and he said the original sin was not Adam eating the apple or Eve or whatever that, whatever you want to believe about what it says or how you interpret what it says in Genesis. He goes, the real issue is scapegoating.
Yeah.
He goes, because, when God came to Adam and said, hey, what's going on? He said, no, it was the woman's fault. And that's why
She's the one that ate the apple, not me.
Jesus became our scapegoat to get us out of trouble. And if you think about that, even today, when bad things go wrong, we want to blame somebody. When we do something wrong, we want to say, oh, it's because of how they treated me, and so I'm going to scapegoat that. And even I look at other people and I look at their situation, I'm like, look at them and their situation. It's their fault. And sometimes that's true. But the thing of it is, instead of looking at other people's issues and scapegoating them for their issues, if you see there's a way you can help, even in the slightest way, it's not about them, it's about you.
Right.
You should be stepping in, even though they put themselves in that situation. For example, let's say you got a guy who's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he's a raging alcoholic, and he always gets behind the wheel of a car because one day he's going to kill somebody. Well, one day you're walking down the road or you're driving down the road and you see he's had a car accident and he's hit a pole. He hadn't hurt anybody, but he's hit a pole and he is falling out of his car all bloody. Do you walk by and go, oh, well, that's you. That's what you get. Or do you stop and help that person anyway?
Of course.
We've got to learn to start helping people anyway.
Yep.
That's what's going to make America a better place.
Right. And it's our voices, and it's our voices that count the most. In doing this walk, I've had a lot of soul searching.
You have. Had a lot of time for that.
It's like you're walking across these barren areas where there's absolutely nothing, and you take the littlest thing and you make something from it. Like, for instance, in the middle of Nevada, 3:30 in the morning, started walking. You get the headlamp on, you can see the eye shine of the coyotes out there, and they're yipping and they're yapping. But you're trudging on, and then all of a sudden you see these, out of the periphery, you see these little things moving. And when you do get a look, they're these little kangaroo mice. And they're just 5 feet away, just kind of walking along, like, what are you doing, human? And then all of a sudden you see this huge one. It must be the master mouse, right? Cross the road at the 1 o'clock position and sits up there and looks at you like, you lost your ever loving mind, human.
Wow.
And it's that moment that you cherish, that individual little moment, even though that it wasn't another human being. It was something that was there, God's creation, that says, you're out here. I see you. And I look at that and I say, this is where I want to see more and more people along this track. What else do you have for us?
Well, I'm just thinking about what you said about them seeing you. And that is an issue that we're struggling with our country. Even personally, it's like, do they see us? Do they hear us? Or are they putting all this chaos and distraction in front of us because there's something else that's going on? People say, oh, it's conspiracy.
Yeah.
But like you said, conspiracies are only conspiracies until they turn out to be true. And I'm
Right.
old enough, I can't tell you the specific conspiracy theories at this moment in time, but I can remember for the longest time talking about, oh, the government, they're doing right by us, they're doing good. And now it's like they will lie right there to your face. And thank God for social media, for YouTube and the internet, because you can do research and go back and say, wait a minute, that person said the exact opposite back here than they're saying right now. And so the hypocrisy, I guess the word hypocrisy is so profound right now that people who want to do right, not necessarily that you're always doing right, but those people who want to do right and want to see the truth, it is there for you to see. But a lot of people, it's almost like they're afraid if I speak out, who's going to cancel me?
Oh, yeah.
What's it going to do to my comfort zone if I speak up? Am I going to lose my job? Am I going to lose my friends? And in a sense, I kind of almost understand it. But that's why it's important for people like you and me to speak up.
Yes.
Because some of these people, it really would destroy their lives if they spoke up.
Yeah.
Some people don't care.
What can someone like that do, Steve?
Some people like that can support the people who are out there doing something. They can donate the money to help the cause continue on. For example, remember the People's Convoy in Canada?
Yes. The Freedom Convoy.
The Freedom Convoy in Canada. Those truckers, in my opinion, reminded us of who we are as Americans. And the people there, unlike the people in America, stood up so strong that they risked life, they risked their reputations. But what they showed us in Canada is a prelude of what could happen here in America. Even those people who spoke up by saying, I'm going to send my little $5 donation, or I'm going to invite the truckers over for a barbecue. The government that saw that shut those people's bank accounts down and put them in a
those
position.
cafes and
They
such.
put them in a position to intimidate them from speaking up. So in America right now, the intimidation is all in your own mind, in my opinion. Because if you have friends and family members, the Bible says that the truth will separate. Truth does not unite people. Truth separates people because a lot of people don't want to know the truth.
Right.
But we still have an opportunity right here in this country to speak out without too much persecution other than the personal persecution. So if you can't handle personal persecution, how are you going to handle government persecution?
Exactly.
When it comes.
Exactly. And that's the message, isn't it? Is that we have to step up and step out in order to let the government that wants to control our every single thought and our moves, let them know that we're not going to allow it. And if we sit back and we continue to ho hum, I vote and I believe in the process, so I'm going to let that go and we'll just see what what it brings. It's those individuals that believe that that is the only course of action that I'm trying to get to say, no, we need to turn something around. You're going down to Branson, Missouri. You're going to be with Mona Miller.
I'm going to meet Mona Miller down in Branson the first week of November.
Yep, and she starts her convoy for
Convoy of Honor.
And that starts on the 4th of November and goes through the 12th of November. And Steve will be there, I believe you said, from the 8th to the...
I'm performing on the 6th and the 8th. I'll probably get to the 5th, and I'll probably stay till about the 9th.
Nice.
So I'll be there for a little bit.
So that's where Mona is also saying that people need to understand that if you say nothing, you're allowing it to happen, even though you're 100% against it.
I was watching a short video about 3 weeks ago, because we have to understand where the brainwashing is trying to take us, trying to take our military, because our military folks are still fighting, not getting vaccinated or getting kicked out of the military.
More than 50,000 to date.
So what happens then if you get those guys who will comply with whatever the government says, even though it's against the Constitution? I was watching a short where there was a veteran who was talking to another veteran and a person who wasn't a veteran. And the person who wasn't a veteran asked the veteran, he said, if the president told you to turn your weapons against society, and the reason it would be, and he said specifically, like the MAGA Republicans. Now, right. I'm an independent. I'm about unifying Democrats, Republicans, independents coming together as Americans, standing as one.
Right.
But he asked that specific question. He said, if the government told you to turn your weapons against the enemies of our country, and like the MAGA Republicans, would you do it? And that veteran, without hesitation, said yes, he would. So what kind of brainwashing, what kind of manipulating of the minds of people in America is going on that would make our brothers and sisters even consider turning against us?
Yeah.
But when you look at what happened in Germany, the Nazis and all that kind of stuff, it has happened throughout society.
It has.
Time after time after time after time again. So we cannot think it can't happen here. So we have to stand up, speak out, step out, and support those who are doing it in order to say, I'm late 50s, and you and I know how fast time goes the older you get.
Yep.
Pretty soon we're going to be gone, and our children and our grandchildren are going to be here dealing with the consequences of our action or our inaction. And I want my kids to at least be able to say, no matter what happens, my dad stood up for what was right in the face of everything that was happening.
Adversity.
So
yes, your mic cut out, by the way.
Oh, I cut that one off.
Oh,
I cut that one off. That's just for singing my songs.
Gotcha. So, I agree. And it's like I've said, and I've tried to make even in my discussions an excuse for the younger generations, in that a military, a person in the military like Gypsy, myself, Whiskey Tango, who was with us for a bit, we would never think that they would turn their guns on us. But then we look at the indoctrination that's occurred for the last few decades now. A lot of, for instance, the drones up there, they don't have anybody behind the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
They have somebody flying a joystick in some room, maybe in Nevada, maybe in Florida, who knows? But to them, it's a game on a computer screen. So they could absolutely
you desensitize them to the
you
human
desensitize
life.
the individuals. They don't feel camaraderie. They don't feel the neighborly love. They've been removed from believing that we've actually been able to accept one another's differences. No, that can't possibly be. So it is my belief that, and since I've started this movement, and I started it back there in early February, I visually have been a lot longer than that, but visually, I left as the second truck when I left Adelanto, California, and I went to Hagerstown that first time, and for me, it turned into a quest. How many people's eyes can I open? And how many people can I get to understand that 245 years ago, we had 56 very smart people sitting in a room, sequestered in the middle of summer in Independence Hall, and created this. But how many millions of us is it going to have to take to fix this?
Well, Ron, the foundation of the values of America, they say God, family, and country. But the foundation of all that is God.
Yeah.
And if God created this world, then he had a purpose in his mind. It's created for this, and there's nothing we can do to stop the purposes of God. Only thing we can do is do everything we can do to make a difference in other people's lives with our voice, with our actions, with the things we do. And there's been so many times, I'm sure you felt this way as you're out there walking by yourself, wondering, does anybody see me? Am I making any difference whatsoever? Those are the times we have to say, you know what, God, I trust you because I'm doing what I believe. In fact, if when you're doing what you really truly believe God has put in your heart, even if it's wrong, God can make it right.
Right.
And you've discovered that on some of your
Oh,
wrong
yeah, yeah,
turns.
yeah. There are no wrong
There are
turns.
no wrong
There are no
turns.
wrong turns. As many turns that I thought were wrong, they've turned out to be right turns.
Wow.
So yes, absolutely, along this way. And I've seen my own bed, my own pillow, 6 days out of since February 1st.
Man,
So
that's
I'm committed to
that's
this.
rough. Yes, you
I'm
are.
absolutely committed into to bringing the people to the table, like what we have right here set up for people to be able to come in and speak to us as to what it is that we believe. Because so many times I hear people say, "Well, I believe in what you're doing, but I just don't know what to do." Well, I believe I have that answer. Don't yell at the TV set or or your tablet or your phone. Come out, find me or another movement like this, be seen and be heard, and let them know who they work for.
One thing we really need to do is start sharing stuff more
Oh,
on
absolutely.
our social media because the mainstream media is not going to cover stuff. So if
Nope.
that is the only way you're looking to get your information, then you're never going to see anything but what they want you to see.
Yeah.
You know, I met you at the People's Convoy
Mm-hmm.
in Hagerstown, Missouri. And
Yeah.
initially, it was just a couple thousand people, maybe.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
energy there was so strong, and it wasn't a political energy.
No.
It was an energy of people just wanting to unite and love
It
one
was
another.
spiritual.
It was very spiritual.
Yeah.
I think one of my best memories is when I was out about 2 o'clock in the morning, and there was this guy from Pakistan or something. There was people from every walk
Everywhere.
of life,
Mm-hmm.
every race, and he's probably about 60 years old. His son was with him. He's about early 20s, and they're talking all loud and a thick accent. And
Mm-hmm.
so every minority I saw, I would walk up to him and say, "Hey, what do you think? What's going on? How you doing?" And he just looked at me with this, it was like tears in his eyes. And he was moving side to side. He goes, "You can feel it, man. You can feel it." The spirit was so strong that you couldn't help but to feel it. I walked up on this young black guy with a camera. I was like, "Hey, man, who you here with?" "I'm with the New York Times." "Oh, really?" I said, "How long you been here?" "You've been here for a couple of days." "Well, what do you think?" I was wrong, man. I was wrong. And that was the typical response of anyone who the left says stereotypically, people who look like me and minorities who aren't supposed to be there, they're wrong.
Yeah.
And so we just have to continue to support these movements, to go out, and even if you can't walk with Ron or you can't go and be a part of it all week long, if it comes to your area, just go out and let these people know that you support them. Donate a couple dollars, or do anything, but when people know that they are appreciated, it really lifts people's spirits and hearts up to a point where they continue on. Because let me tell you, when you're by yourself out there doing it, and you go on your social media and you're getting all the hate and you're getting all the people talking down on you, if you're weak, it can make you quit.
Right.
But I'm not weak, and you're not weak.
No.
And when I see those kind of things happen, I say, it's like
Here we go.
when Jesus said, "Hey, they persecuted me, they're gonna persecute you."
Right.
And when I see that, I'm like, "Yes, Lord, you're right.
Yep.
They're doing it. I'm on the right road, and I continue on."
In the Air Force, we say, when you're not catching flack, you're not over the target.
Mm.
You have one for us?
Oh, I've got all kinds of songs, man. I'm gonna say "Wake Up in the USA" for later in the broadcast tonight, But this song is called "Today Is for Freedom."
Today is for freedom.
That's right. And this song is a song to wake us all up, to look around and say, "Hey, there's opportunities that I am just not taking advantage of," or encourage you to lift your voice and speak out, and even celebrate. In America, where else in America can we celebrate the human race? Celebrate all races of people, because again, that is what this country was built on. People say, "Oh, built on immigrants." You're right. It was definitely built on immigrants.
Absolutely.
But it was built on immigrants coming together to share the common values of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Not the guarantee of happiness,
but the pursuit.
But the pursuit of it.
That's right.
And with the government and people in authority getting out of our way. Because I believe if that can truly happen, then people don't have to worry about other voices. They can really hear from God and try to be who they're supposed to be.
Right.
And then if that happens in a nation, who knows what America is supposed to look like other than God Almighty himself, who's designed it for that purpose. So this song is called "Today Is for Freedom." Uh-oh, let me get the other mic on. There we go. Hey. Wake up! You don't have to be scared anymore. Wake up! Put your feet down on the floor. Reach out! Turn the knob on your front door. Today is for freedom. Yeah. Wake up! It's okay if you think for yourself. Wake up! Time to put pride on the shelf. Reach out. You be you and no one else. Today is for freedom. Today is the day for freedom. Yeah. Come on now. Wake up, because today's a brand new day. Wake up, let's make the world a better place. Reach out, celebrate the human race. Today is for freedom. Today is the day for freedom. Yeah. Today is the day for freedom. Today is the day for freedom. Today is the day for freedom. Here, here, right here, right here.
Thank you.
Today is the day.
Thank you.
Not tomorrow. Today.
Oh, beautiful. So we have another one of our convoy buddies is restreaming this stream.
Good.
So thank you for doing that. Appreciate you, Tom. So yeah, this freedom is ultimately it, right? I mean, freedom is taken for granted in a lot of places in the country. You and I were speaking earlier about the fact that we can look on the internet and we can see hundreds of thousands of people in other countries that are standing up for their freedoms. And we're not seeing that in the United States. And it's really puzzling and mind-boggling as to why we're not seeing the people stand up. I mean, there's been all kinds of theories, talking with my friends, talking with other people who were in the convoy, saying they're just not hurting enough. Okay. You and I both agree this is a spiritual thing that has to occur. This happens on God's timetable. What happens and when it happens, right? So, but we can't help but feel like we're here for a reason. I'm trudging across this country for a reason. I feel compelled to continue to move east, which is kind of opposite from the way it was move west, young man. But moving
Moved
east.
from the East Coast out to California for gold. Now we got to go back east to Washington.
Back east to Washington.
To get them back on track.
And you know, this structure that our Constitution is, that this is a constitutional republic. We see so many people, and sometimes from both sides of the aisle. I'm also a nonpartisan. I'm a registered nonpartisan. Very proud of that fact, actually, because you pick up a form of clarity when you don't have to make a choice.
Right.
When you haven't chosen the left or you haven't chosen the right, then you have no loyalties to the left and no loyalties to the right. You have loyalties to yourself and the belief in what comes into your body from above, from God's own will, shall we say. And that's why I feel I'm on a movement here. I feel I'm on a movement to wake people up, bring people to the table, talk to me. If I don't know the answers, I'm going to tell you I don't know the answer to that. But at the same time, I do know a lot of the answers. And I'm going to give you what I have and say, look, this is what it's going to take in order for us, we the people, to start to heal this thing that has been shoved down our throats, not just since the pandemic started, but from long before, right?
Yes, sir. I tell you, it's like no matter what has happened in history, the crowd has never been right. One side or the other, the crowd has never been right. There's always someone right there in the middle, or a small group of people right there in the middle, and the crowd on both sides really is persecuting those people. And so, and if you are really feeling that what you're doing is a divine assignment.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, it's a divine assignment. People are talking to you on one side or trying to pull you to the other side. The only way you really are going to sell out, or I won't even say sell out, the only way you can really buy in to what they're saying is to compromise something that you said that you really believed at the core of your being. And if you find yourself compromising in order to be accepted or to fit in to another group, then that's wrong. I mean, I tell you, personally, my dad was in the Air Force for 31 years. And I was born in the Philippines, lived in Panama. I went to 12 different schools between, kindergarten and the time I graduated from high school.
Mhm.
So I was always having to try to fit in. And it got to the point where I thought to myself, you know what? I'm tired of trying to fit in with other people because, as an African American, now you can imagine, I'm going to talk some race stuff with you.
Go for it.
The way I speak is because I went to school. I've been around a lot of different people. If I was down south in a white country culture, I'd probably talk like them boys. If I was in the hood in the city, I'd probably talk like them brothers. But I just talk like Steve. And so I have found myself being discriminated against from the black community. My wife is white. I've been with my wife for 38 years. So I found myself discriminated against
Congratulations.
from the black community. I found myself discriminated against the white community. And so it's kind of like God has separated me from all communities and set me apart for something special. So that's how I have started to internalize that. Not that, because I love the black community and I go to church in the black community and I mentor some kids that are gangbangers and I'm right there with them and loving on them. But then outside of that community that don't know me, I'm persecuted as, someone who's too white for the community. And then on the white community, there's a lot of people on that side that's going to persecute me because I'm black. I mean, it's just, you're not going to not have battles in life. You're not going to be, the world is just not going to accept you. The Bible says, Christ said, if they persecuted me, they're going to persecute you.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself in a situation where the world loves you, I'm more nervous about that than I'm nervous about people discriminating against me or, you know, not accepting me. I'm good with
It's
not
the
being
quiet ones.
I'm good with not being accepted because
Yeah.
I know that my heart desires to do his will and
Yes.
not my will.
Right.
So I just want to encourage, I don't care who you are, I want to encourage you right now. It doesn't matter what race you are, what color you are, you need to really focus in on why God created you and how you can use your life to make a difference. Because we're all chasing dreams. I want to be a Major League Baseball player. And I pitched for the Huskers, and I played a little bit of pro ball, the replacement player for the Twins during the strike, played some Major League Baseball games. And it's like every time I've achieved what I thought was my dream, it was so anticlimactic. It's like, is this really what it was? So then you're chasing another dream. But then I thought to myself, as I've started to go out with my music and the message of waking America up, of uniting people, we're all better together, and not doing it for my own purposes, but doing it for God's purposes. I'm living my dream every day. There's no arrival. I'm doing it. I'm making a difference in people's lives in big ways sometimes and in small ways sometimes. But I tell you, the feeling I get when I do that blows away the feeling I had when I was playing with the Minnesota Twins for a minute. It blows away the time when I'm out there pitching and maybe throwing up. I threw a couple no hitters,
Mhm.
That feels pretty good as a pitcher. But I have never experienced the fulfillment because we think our dreams are going to fulfill us. But the true fulfillment comes, as far as I'm concerned, from my personal experience, is that when you are making a difference in somebody's life by what you do.
Yeah.
So,
And I had an experience back in 1996 where the Oakland Piedmont fires out in California. We'd gone through all these devastating floods and such that we thought we we've seen enough. And I was on the board of directors for the Salvation Army's emergency communication systems, and they have these what they call canteens, right?
mhm.
You see them, the buses that go out, they they go to the disasters, they hand food out, and we wound up in this area, smoke everywhere, ambers flying everywhere. This one community we're right outside of Oakland. They're in Piedmont. And we set up to hand out sack lunches. Of course, the volunteers put together sandwiches, a piece of fruit, some chips, and so on. And this woman came with 2 children. She's wearing a bathrobe. This woman's just been burned out of her home in Piedmont. And she walks up and she says, can I get something to eat? And I hand her sacks for the kids and her, and she says, how much? Man, you don't owe us nothing. I'll give you another set of sack lunches if that. I mean, it just immediately brings the emotion to bear to see that these people just lost everything. They just lost everything. She's sitting there in a bathroom. And humanity gets it in times of disaster, right?
But isn't that something to think about right there? How America here, we've been brainwashed so much to be a consumer society that even when things are bad, people will come up homeless and help us and ask, how much does it cost?
Exactly. That's the programming that occurs. But at the same time, the fulfillment of just being able to give somebody a sandwich for free, just that fulfillment of being able to help.
And how simple it was.
And how simple it was.
It wasn't, you didn't give them a sack of money.
You didn't go rebuild their home.
And you knew that sandwich made a humongous difference in their life that day.
That's right. That was it. And just to think just exactly how heart-filled that was. Everything happens for a reason, Steve. And it's like the day that I met you, I was sitting in the back room of that kitchen with Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson. And we were talking about what was happening and about how we needed to come together and unite, and how Canadians and Americans were brethren for the convoys that were coming together. And we come out of there, and you in acapella sang "Oh Canada" to her when I said, "Here's our friends from Canada." And it was so touching. Everybody in the room just went nuts. And it was like, I remember her words. She said, I was about to ugly cry. Times like that are what, you can take a fraction of a moment and it pays for everything that you just did.
That's one thing I learned as a Air Force brat as I traveled to other countries and different places in the country. People are all the same. No matter where you live, people want to have some safety for their family. They want to be able to send their kids to school to learn and to be educated so they can grow up and go out and try to be whatever God created them to be without any distraction, without any pushback, and just to watch people grow and achieve better than the generation before. And that's, I don't care if I was in Panama, in Canada, America, it is all the same.
Yeah.
People just want to be free.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we don't want to have some government trying to tell us what it is that we have to do from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed. The government keeps attempting to chain us and put that old ball and chain on us. And it's up to us to fight, to continue that fight, to continue the education, to say that is not what we're here for. We're not here so that individual can tell us what to do today. We are here because the good Lord above told us through creating us what it is we want to do. I tell people, and I told somebody this back on February 22nd, Steve. I said, the day that I was born, in that delivery room was a doctor, a nurse, my mom. Nowhere near was there a politician or a bureaucrat. Nowhere near there. And when I was born, there was only one that gave me breath. There was only one that gave me sight. There was only one that gave me my hearing. And to this very day, there's only one that can take my breath away.
Amen to that, brother.
You have something else in there for?
I've got so many songs, man.
Let's do it.
You know, this song is called Thank You for You. I'm going to give the Lord some praise on this one. You know, one day, I was in the foreclosure crisis. You know, I'm a homeowner. Thank God we got our home together right now, but we owe $21,000 on our house. We just had our twins. So my wife, who has been in the public school system for almost 30 years now, she took that summer off, or that year off, to raise the kids. And, you know, it was on me to make it happen. You know, I was a sales rep, and I was struggling. And I came home from work one day, and it was a bad day. And my kids met me at the door. My two oldest at the time, they were probably about 6 and 4. And when I opened the door, Daddy, and they hugged my leg. I didn't have nothing, but it was just like all of that stress just melted out of me. They were just so thankful for me and not my presence. And so that night, you know, my man cave is out in the garage. So I'm out in the garage, and I'm just thinking about our situation again now. And I just start crying. I'm like, Lord, please help me with this, help me with these things, help me with that. And it was like a voice. It wasn't an audible voice, but it was a voice that just came out and said, Steve, wait. You know I know what you need. And just like your kids, you handle your kids' needs. They don't have to worry about that. But you know what I want? I want some of that I love you, Daddy love that your kids gave you today.
Unconditional.
Just thank me for your existence. Just thank me for being here, not for anything, just like that. And so I grabbed my guitar, and every song I've ever written, I don't have any throwaway songs. I don't have any songs on an album that just there to fill it. Every song is really, really powerful because it ministered to me and my needs at the time. So I think if God gives you something, it's not for you, it's for other people. So I wrote this song called Thank You for You. And I just really hope that, I don't know what any of you are going through out there, but I hope this song really speaks to you and helps you to really know how to connect to God. God's really not that holy God. He is the holy God. Forgive me, Lord. You know I know you are. But he doesn't want us to approach him as if he's somebody who cannot be touched. He wants us to approach him as our daddy, that we can come and sit on his lap and tell him all of our cares and share all of our celebrations and all of that stuff. He wants to be a part of every part of our life and not just that Sunday worship sermon. Be good this week. So this song is called Thank You for You. I will sing your praise each and every day. You are the reason I breathe. It's only by your grace that I live in this place. Provider of all of my needs. So I want to thank you for the sun and the moon and the rain and the stars in the sky. But mostly I thank you for you. Thank you for the people you brought in my life, all my family and friends. You keep coming through for me again and again and again. Thank you for the good times even for the bad. 'Cause I know you'll help me to make it through. You're such a wonderful dad. So I want to thank you for the sun and the moon and the rain and the stars in the sky. But mostly I thank you for you. Only you are worthy of all glory and praise. I will forever praise you, O Ancient of Days. So let the light of your love shine so brightly that the whole world will see that you're living in me. So I'm gonna sing your praise each and every day. You are the reason that I breathe. It's only by your grace that I live in the USA. Provider of all of my needs. So I want to thank you for the sun and the moon and the rain and the stars in the sky. But mostly I thank you for you. But mostly but mostly I thank you for you. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you very much. You guys get
Hi,
to
folks.
be entertained while you're sitting there today.
Ashley, come on over, say hello, hon.
Grab a seat, sit on down. We're live right now.
I showered before I came.
Here, take my seat.
Oh, I couldn't share it.
I'll scoot over.
Don't forget your phone there, Steve.
Oh,
Thank you for coming, Ashley.
Glad to be here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm Ron, Gray Wolf. Nice to meet you. Your kids?
Yes, they're starving. They're starving. So, how are you guys doing? Did you guys have anyone make it out today?
You're it.
I'm it?
You're it.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
well, Steve.
I'm Steve Spurgeon.
Steve
I'm
Spurgeon.
from Dublin, but you know, it's not that you're it, but this is
Yeah.
what's going on. Because when you are in the midst of doing something that really has divine purpose, you're not going to get a crowd of people coming and say,
That's very
"Yay,
true.
yay, great job!" So we're just here to continue the fight, but we're being live streamed all over, so people are watching this and being encouraged.
That's true.
in places
Good.
that no one else can reach it. So we're glad that you're here today.
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So I haven't had a chance to speak with, since the beginning of the week, to speak with Allie
Yes.
up in Omaha.
I think she just got back last night. She was out of state
Right.
for a couple days. I think
Right.
it was last night she got back, but I haven't checked in with her today.
Right. So can you tell me a little bit about what NOGA is?
So, Nebraskans Against Government Overreach was founded by Allie years ago in order to help preserve our medical freedom. And so she started before COVID, before anything really, it was mostly about vaccines and just making sure that people were educated on what was happening. And she traveled across the country trying to bring awareness to it across Nebraska, holding different rallies. And I followed her during that time as well. And then when COVID came, we kind of shifted focus a little bit and started to focus more on just your general rights as an American and what was being infringed upon. And so we've taken action in many different areas, holding rallies to just bring awareness that one, the mask was a bad idea, lockdowns were never going to be effective, and then as things continued to progress and individual people started to be impacted in their jobs, we started doing rallies in those areas as well. We reach out to local school districts when they were having issues with the mask issue, when they were masking kids, but there wasn't really any need to. Gosh, I can't think of everything we've done in the last couple of years. Tons of rallies. I mean,
And now
at the height of COVID,
Steve
we were
lives,
doing
you
rallies.
live in Bellevue?
Bellevue, so you're near Allie. She did them outside of hospitals inside of Omaha. She was at city council meetings. And then we just coordinated across the state of Nebraska with other people who were beginning to have those same concerns and trying to figure out how they could be active. And so we ourselves started attending local city council meetings and school board meetings, county meetings, trying to make sure that our elected knew that these mandates were unconstitutional and they needed to end.
Right. And that's where myself, I was coming into this long before the escalator ride of 2015, and saying, watch out, here it comes, it's coming, it's a locomotive, it's coming down the track, it's time to start watching out. They're going to start nibbling away at our freedoms and our liberties, and before you know it, we're not going to have time to recover.
Yeah.
The recovery time, that slope on the graph just doesn't, it requires too much energy to get it there. And so this when the People's Convoy, which is where I joined up, started up. Actually, it goes back to the Freedom Convoy of Canada, Freedom 2022 Convoy. I was kind of embarrassed that we didn't think of that first. Here we are, a whole bunch of truck drivers, and we're saying, we're not, we've been fighting these regulations for years for truck drivers, against truck drivers. We couldn't think about doing a convoy coming across America when COVID started. And
then the one that did start really fizzled out. I don't know. I was embarrassed by our attempt in comparison to the Canadian one. But it was also, the ability to unite Nebraskans or even just Americans has been a struggle, I think, for several decades now. Everyone kind of goes back to, well, on 9/11, we all united, and we were in California at the time, and I don't remember feeling any unity amongst anybody. There was certainly, a great wave of compassion and concern, and there was patriotism, but a united front, I don't think that there was.
I agree with you.
And we've struggled to kind of get that united front here locally in Beatrice and statewide. And the small attempts that we've made, I think, pale in comparison to what we're seeing around the world with many of these lockdowns.
We were just talking about that.
Which is really concerning because we are a free nation and we have let that freedom just fizzle and fade. And we just blindly continue to think that we have it when we truly don't.
I agree with you. I see where it's as though the average American is waiting for that knight in shining armor on the white horse to come barreling in and say, I'm here to save the day. But
we are our own. We are responsible for that ourselves.
Absolutely.
And trying to get people to understand that importance has...
Right. And see, that's where the convoy comes in. I mean, the convoys, by definition, convoy is something that has to move.
Correct.
I mean, Steve was in Hagerstown. I was in Hagerstown. We made some headway going up and finding out what laws were going on the books. There's still one right now. There's an active petition that we should be jumping on with both feet. Okay. There's a discharge petition going on. And we should absolutely be telling people, make phone calls, emails, letters.
Yeah.
And do not let up.
Yeah.
Because we're nowhere near the finish line on this. And in fact, we're just beginning the race. But but I get that feeling that Americans aren't, I don't want to say, because it's cliche, not hurting enough, because we're hurting.
Yeah.
So where do we take it to say we need to get the people to get out from behind that TV screen or that tablet or whatever the case might be, open that front door up, grow enough of the
Yes.
internals necessary to say, as Steve pointed out, being afraid to be canceled by family members or by
Yeah.
friends, and just say, I'm just going to do it. I am going to do it because I believe enough in this country that we need to get up, get out, be heard, be seen, and don't let them tell us that we're going to do what they want when we're a republic.
Absolutely.
And so we march on. And now we're looking for that magic pill. A lot of people are looking for that magic pill. There is no magic pill.
No,
We
are
the magic
correct.
pill.
Yes.
So yes.
It's that consumer society that we are. The Bible talks about the fruits of the Spirit. And if you look at every advertisement on television, every billboard you see, they are promising you a fruit of the Spirit. It's promising you love if you look a certain way. It's promising you peace if you take that vacation someplace.
Right.
It's all offering you fruits of the Spirit. And so that is really what people are looking for. And freedom really has become second place to consumerism, because consumerism is getting them.
It's instant gratification.
So, I mean, it's how can we get people to stop looking at that and realize, I mean, the older you get, the more you realize that stuff doesn't really, I mean, my neighbor passed about 5 years ago, and I went down, his son had me come down there, wanted to see if I wanted some things. 30, 40, 50 pair of pants, tags on them, suits. I mean, things that people have bought thinking that they were going to look good and feel good, that they never, ever even had a chance to use. And it's like less is more.
Absolutely.
And so my goal is to be a person that is more concerned about making a difference in people's lives than trying to make a difference in my own life. Because really, when I make a difference in someone's life, that is when I really feel those fruits of the Spirit start to blossom in my own heart.
Absolutely. With Allie, starting Nebraskans Against Government Overreach, and us just kind of utilizing the large platform that she had built, so many other smaller groups, not necessarily connected to Nebraskans Against Government Overreach, but the concept, of preserving your freedom and outreach into the community started. So I think there's two dozen small Patriots groups across the state of Nebraska. And we have one here in Gage County and Beatrice. And those are really great opportunities to get into the community, educate the community on what their rights are, how they can be active in preserving them. A lot of Americans seem to think that, unless, their house is being barged upon by some invading force, they don't need to take action. And it's like, no, you absolutely need to take action, because you're being stuck into this house by your government, and that is not the way that it's supposed to be. You should have freedom of movement and these different things. And so educating people through that process, we've been able to grow those spirits and grow that in different ways. We've got people working at the school board, because the things that kids are being taught, is terrifying these days. People at the county level making sure that our land rights are being preserved. And then at the city level, we're trying to make impacts there as well. And each individual Patriots group is going to have its own challenges based off of what local government they're up against. But that really is what we're up against. If we aren't founded in our faith, any attempt to change the government is going to be futile.
I tell people all the time, America is not really Washington, D.C. America's your town.
Yes.
That's America. You make America work where you are, and if everybody does it wherever they are, then it comes to a point where the whole nation's changed. But it's hard to think about them. Oh, they need to change in Washington. I'm going to go to Washington while your own town is in all the trouble and everything's happening in your town.
Right. Or they only see, the issues in Washington, and they're not realizing that their city has, unfortunately, is more corrupt than what they are witnessing in Washington. And that's a concern. You're literally here. These people, that are governing your city, your township, your village, they directly impact your daily lives. It takes time for things to trickle down from Washington and affect us. But right here, our local government is where we need to be affecting change. And if we can get people into those offices who understand their God-given rights, understand the Constitution, then it will spread throughout the community, because they will be encouraging people to be godly, to be constitutional, and to be of service to their community, because it shouldn't be about consumerism and about me. It should be service to other people.
Amen to that, sister.
Yes. I think we're mirror images. I mean, we're actually sitting next to you. But seriously, this has been the words that are coming out of my mouth for months and months. And when I sat down, when I decided to do this walk, it was the decision was talk to people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've experienced this, the frustrations of getting people to take the time, the 5 seconds to just hear you for one moment. And that 5 seconds is, hi, I'm Ron Coleman. Right? And even to get that, even in Lexington the other day, when we were walking from the fairgrounds to Walmart and back, just a 4-mile walk, saw some folks coming out of a local hardware store, lined up in cars. Some of them rolling their windows down, first few, run up, start handing the card. You see the 2 or 3 in the back, windows up, don't make eye contact.
Yeah.
So it's the exact same thing where you're like, that's okay, I'm fighting for you too.
Yeah. I say that every opportunity that I can. I'm going to keep moving this direction because I know that it will benefit you more than it benefits me.
Yes.
The outcome for you is going to be much more than it will ever be for me. And so I just keep marching forward. And, our Patriots group, has had some ups and downs, and we've had some different things that we've had to work through. But as a whole, it's continuing to grow very slowly. Right. And people are starting to go, oh, well, I didn't have time for her that month, but I have time now. And then it's, okay, well, I heard this little bit, and then I'll go tell my neighbor this little bit. And so it's just planting these little seeds everywhere that we can go. And it's really hard waiting for them to grow.
It's frustrating to wait for those seeds to sprout in internalism.
Yeah, I just keep reminding myself that these seeds are more like sycamore trees. They're going to take a lot longer to grow, than this quick elm or this shooting up of a pine tree. It's going to take some time. And just going back and just continually going, hey, did you have time to look at this? What else can I do for you today? Because that really is, as soon as you make it about a service to them, they're much more receptive to you.
Right.
Invitation. How can I help you with this? You seem upset that your city council is not listening to you. What can I do to make it easier for you to be vocal or to feel heard? The same with our school board and our county. And we continue to just wait for that progress to go and continue. Burnout happens faster
is extremely
for those of us who are on the front lines, but it's absolutely worth it. When the next person, you're at that, you just feel completely done. This is it. I can't go any further. And then someone else, hi, Laura, comes in and says, hey, I've been watching you. I think I'm ready to step up. And that just kind of boosts you back up, and you just, keep going a little bit farther and a little bit further. And so those seeds do start to sprout. You just patience and making sure that you're giving them, that parable of throwing them out over the rocks or into the good soil. It really is a little bit of discernment. You can't just start throwing it out there everywhere. You got to make sure that you're making that connection with that person before you really give everything into it.
True. So true.
Yeah.
Steve, you have anything? You have another one that
Oh, I've got songs.
Well, if you want to play a song, I will go place my dinner order.
I see the kids over there going.
I know, they're hungry. Laura will take good care of them, though.
We are not. Let's go back over here. Oh. I think if people really realize how special they are, how important they are as an individual, that it really would make a difference as far as them standing up and having faith to just carry out and carry on. Like my dad would say, carry on. It's one of his little, being the chief master sergeant, his little military statements. And my kids got.
So may I ask, is that your father's pen?
Yeah, this is my father's pen right here, Chief Master Sergeant.
Chief Master Sergeant, Air Force.
31 years.
Yep.
But I don't have any tattoos. I tell my kids, I'm 57 years old, never had a tattoo in my life. What do I need a tattoo for now? When my dad passed, they all went and got on their arms tattooed, carry on. For the
Carry on.
But we are one. God has made us all individually special on purpose, with a purpose, all to fulfill. And really, as long as we step out and start doing it, it's like he carries you. It's like you don't really do it. You just okay. He was just looking for a body to use to start the process. And really, when
Vessel.
when it's all over, we all can win.
Yeah.
It's not. There doesn't have to be. And with God, didn't have to be losers and winners. We all can win. This song is called "One of a Kind." I wrote this song when I came to a point at the end of my situation. I just kind of gave up, and didn't give up myself, but I gave up trying on my own. I said, Lord, you stand outside of time, and you love me the way the Bible tells me you love me. Then you saw me when I was born, you see me when I died, and no matter what all is going on in here, it's already finished, and things are going to work out just fine. So my job is to trust you and be still when I don't see things going the way I think it should go. Move when you tell me to move. So I wrote this song. It's called "One of a Kind," and I only wrote one verse. God wrote the other verse, and the second verse was so powerful to me because, really, the first verse just kind of came and flowed out as I was singing it, and then it was like, second verse, I couldn't think of anything to say, and it was because it wasn't for me to say. He wanted to say something encouraging to me that let me know that I was truly one of a kind. So I hope this encourages whoever's listening to this song today.
Mic on.
Mic on. I know that we're gonna make it through, 'cause it's already finished. Now the only thing I've got to do is be still while I'm in it. I must be strong, keep moving on, 'cause this is not where I belong. So I'll be true and follow you all the way home. Come along and run this race with me. You just have to begin it. For too long I know you're gonna see everyone can win it. And if you fall, I'm gonna be right there. You'll never be alone. So stand up tall and let your heart lead you all the way home. Time to let it go. You have been set free. You're free. You're free. There's a place that's been prepared for you. Can't you see it? Look right there. It's right in front of you. You just have to believe it. Oh, can't you see? You were made for this moment in time. So stand and be, because you're one of a kind. You're one of a kind, yes. Time to let your fears go. You are free. You're free. You're free. Spread your wings, child, and fly. You're one of a kind.
All right. Beautiful.
We're one of a kind.
Beautiful, man. See, and that's the thing, of being able to sit and have little meets like this is just moving for me. And I appreciate
And
you.
even if it's not my music, you know, I've got this saying. It's not really my saying, but someone was listening to my music, and they gave me this saying. I really like it. It says, "To Steve Spurgeon, mind, music matters." All these songs, I hope, are just changing your perspective, encouraging your heart, making you think about yourself and about other people in a positive way, in a way that makes your life and their lives and your communities and the nation a better place. So whether it's my music, someone else's music, make sure you're listening to stuff that really encourages your mind, because mind and music really does matter. It really does.
Yeah, it's when the first time I heard you sing, and it was, yeah, I have to say, and kudos, because every single song I've heard you sing comes from right here, comes from your heart, and it expresses you, and it's not only expresses you, but it also says something to each and every one of us that's listening. If you don't listen, then it's just music, it's just words, and it comes out so beautifully. And thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
brother. I
for it.
appreciate that. So, people, what is it that we're looking to achieve? We're looking to achieve a a this is a movement. What are we looking to achieve from this movement? We're looking to achieve the removal of the oppression that is against us at every turn. You've heard you heard Ashley say that medical tyranny, medical oppression, and it was going on before the days of COVID. And in Nebraska, they they've got a movement that is growing, and this is the kind of movement that I think needs to not think, but I know needs to move forward across all 50 states and indeed the world. As Steve and I mentioned, as well as Ashley, we're seeing this happen across the planet. We're seeing lots of countries that are getting together. The people, and some of them are very oppressed areas. They're very oppressed areas. And the people are still getting out because they know one simple fact: there is power in numbers. I'll be right back. You're on.
Can you hear me now? Am I there? All right, there we go. Am I on? All right. Well, hey, this song is called It's Just Me. Uh, one thing about all of us, we seem to want people to accept us for who we are, but we don't want to accept other people for who they are. So hopefully this will give you a new perspective on that and help you be more open to letting people be who God created them to be and just accepting it and loving them anyway. Check it out. Oh. Ooh, let me turn this up a little bit. Just because I don't think like you do doesn't mean you can treat me like you want to. I just have a different point of view. Got no agenda, my only to help you understand that you need me and I need you. Look past my face and look deep into my eyes and see it's just me. If you meet me passing by the way, don't be offended by the words that I might say. All I wish for you is good. If we could just get that understood, then I know we could be on our way. Face and look deep into my eyes and see it's just me. Look past my face and look deep into my eyes and see it's just me. It's just me. It's just me.
Man, a little bit of technical difficulty, but we managed to make
That's
through it.
okay. A little musical break. Another musical break.
Little musical break. Gotta love the music, man. We can't do without that music. So one of the things that occurred when I was going across the country was this beautiful thing with people. And I would have people coming up to me, total strangers, giving me a hug. Some of them sobbing and just saying, thank you. Thank you for doing what it is you're doing. And several things occurred along the way. Did you ever hear what happened with the convoy coming in out of Arizona and New Mexico?
Mm-mm.
So we came into right at the Arizona New Mexico borders, Navajo Nation. Okay, we were invited to go ahead and stop there. So we stopped. We pulled along the side of the road on a frontage road. It was 9 degrees outside.
What month was this?
This was February.
Okay, all right. Wow.
And it was
Arizona,
freezing. And there was a cold front moving through there. And I parked the truck. It's dark. And I look, and there's these bonfires going. And I stepped out, got layered it, stepped out, walked across the street. There's this old gas station that was burned down. And the Navajo women had set up feasts. There was fry bread, there was pulled pork, there was beans, there was anything you can think of. I'm talking 80-year-old women out there in freezing weather. What do you want to eat? And you want to talk about getting choked up.
Wow.
I mean, this was just a beautiful thing to see this happening. And then the next morning, the vice president of the Navajo Nation got up and gave prayer, blessed us, and said that the Navajo Nation, the largest tribe in North America, is behind you 100% in what you're doing. And that just kind of hit you.
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah. And it was just like, oh my goodness, that's you can't believe
You're getting that kind of support, encouragement, and prayers from the largest, from the Navajo Nation, but you can't get the attention of you can barely get the attention of a congressman and a senator here in the United States of America.
Isn't that amazing? Here, and you're absolutely right. You've got the largest tribe in the United States, in North America, is blessing you and telling you that they're behind you. And you're right. You cannot get the representative of that area for the federal government to come out and say hello.
Or even your own personal representative from your
Oh,
state.
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm from Nevada.
That is sad.
And District 2 is Mark Amadei's office. I called Mark Amadei's office and I said, I would just like to have a few moments of his time. Oh, he's a very busy man. And at that time, there was something boiling up inside of me. It boiled up inside of me to the point to where I said, let me get this straight. He won't take 5 minutes to speak to me after I'd just been in a room with congressmen, the people from his side of the aisle as well, with senators, but he's too busy to speak to me. When this country is giving salutes that we shouldn't be giving, will he believe that it's too busy then? And that's the amount of anger that was present. It was like, how dare he? He represents me, but I don't see his name on a single bit of, I stand for freedom. I stand for constitutional rights, freedoms, liberties, which we both know are simply a representation of our God-given rights.
But if they don't serve God above their political parties, then you know there's an issue. Donald Trump said something once. He was talking about just our own nature. If someone gave you $1 million for your walk, when they called you, you're going to answer that phone.
Yes.
That's just, that's only natural. So the question is, who's giving money to our politicians to support their campaigns? Because that's who they're listening to, because they're definitely not listening to their constituents for sure.
Sure.
So we really need to find out who's giving them money to support their campaigns. And once we see that, and then we find out the values those people have and what their agenda is
versus the constituents,
then we'll find out the true agenda of those people. Now, I'm not going to say every single politician's that
not
way.
everyone. Yeah.
Not everyone. There's some out there that are really, really trying hard to represent the people that elected them. But it's obvious that over the years, that has not been the case.
Yeah, very obvious. So we really need to bring a change. We need to bring change. And I agree even when some of those senators say there's only one way to make change in the United States, and it's never, ever been done before, is to have the people rise up. Never been done before. We can look at the Civil War, we can look at the Revolutionary War, we can look at the Civil Rights Movement, we can look at all these different movements, but we can never say, or we can say to this date, never have we seen Americans rise up to the point to where they plug up all the streets in their local towns, as well as the bigger towns in America, and say, you guys work for us. And this is not a democracy, this is a constitutional republic. And you work for us.
I'm dreaming of that day.
You and me
For
both.
sure.
You and me both. Folks, we've been on here for almost 2 hours. And I would like to bring this to an end. I want to thank Steve Spurgeon. He has graciously let us use his songs, "Let's Save America" and "Wake Up in the USA." And we have gotten a lot of beautiful response from them. In fact, I was watching somebody on a panel when I played the montage, and they were wiping a tear. and you know you're touching someone's soul. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to have Steve take us on out of here with Wake Up in the USA.
All right. And if anybody from YouTube is watching this, I give this man permission to use my songs in any way he wants to. So any copyright infringements, he's been having to deal with a lot of copyright infringements. And I would like it if you guys would just let that go. We have sent emails, we've done everything that we know to do to try to get over those hoops. So if anyone from YouTube is actually watching or actually sees this, because I know you do see it, because you look at everything first before you actually let it go out there. Otherwise, you shut things down. So I know someone's watching it. Please allow Ron to use my music to encourage people as he goes across America on this walk. There you go. We'll try.
Thank you, Steve.
We'll try that. There's a cry of freedom sweeping around the world today. Here we have it all, life and liberty. Still we give the dream away. No more can we afford to stand around, set inside our ways. Wake up in the USA. Wake up in the USA. Help others when you can. Respect your fellow man. Can't you see the times are changing? When priorities are wrong, we've got to stand up strong and rearrange them. It's time that we wake up and see that our freedom was never free. So wake up in the USA. You know what you need to do. Don't give up, you gotta push on through. Quit closing your eyes, pretending that you don't see. And if you think you'll just spectate, it's too late. We all live here together, from sea to shining sea. Now there's a cry of freedom sweeping around the USA. No one can take the sunlight or the breeze. No one can turn our blue skies gray. Now everybody join together with me as I pray. Wake up in the USA. Wake up. In the USA. Wake up, you live in the USA. And you can stream Wake Up in the USA and Let's Save America on Spotify. So look up Steve Spurgeon, Wake Up in the USA, or just Steve Spurgeon. You'll find them both there.
SteveSpurgeon.com
I
is your
got
website.
my website. And share the music. I mean, Spotify's free, so it's not like you're selling anything.
Mhm.
Share that music and tell them to share it with other people as well. And if you are in the Branson, Missouri area for the Convoy of Honor, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be performing on the 6th of November and again on the 8th of November. And hopefully I'll get a chance to visit some first responders there and encourage them and let them know that we really appreciate the sacrifices they make for the freedoms we have in this country.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate you coming out.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
everything you're doing. I appreciate the songs, your views, and again, back in Hagerstown, you said something that sticks with me, and I will forever remember it, brother. It is our duty to do something, not just our right.
Exactly.
So with that, Texas, why don't you take it away, and we'll God bless you. God bless the United States.
There's a cry of freedom sweeping around the world today. And here we have it all, life and liberty. Still we give the dream away. No more can we afford to stand around, set inside our ways. Wake up in the USA. Wake up in the USA. Help others when you can. Respect your fellow man. Can't you see the times are changing? When priorities are wrong, we've got to stand up strong and rearrange them. It's time that we wake up and see our freedom was never free. So wake up in the USA. You know what you need to do. Don't give up, you gotta push on through. Quit closing your eyes, pretending that you don't see. And if you think you'll just spectate, it's too late. We all live here together, from sea to shining sea. Now there's a cry of freedom sweeping around the USA. No one can take the sunlight or the breeze. No one can turn our blue skies gray. Now everybody join together with me as I pray. Wake up in the USA. Wake up in the USA.
Remember the folks that was happening in China? The water's drying up. You seen that?
Let's all stand
I just saw that as yesterday. I'm like, holy
and
smoke.
together
But God,
we'll understand
that would be the
that we're all in the same boat sailing along. If we wanted to be here after we're gone, seal up the cracks, keep the hull strong. Let's save America. Storms are gonna be rough as we travel across the sea. I know we're gonna make it, 'cause I got you and you got me. Now there's one thing I know right down to the letter. If we really wanna see it get better, we're gonna have to do it together. Can't you see? Let's save America. Let's save America. We gotta get back on course. If they won't listen to our voice, we'll shout it out louder. Through any kind of weather, we can make it together. Yeah. Let's save America. America. Let's save America.
In America, we may have our differences, but we all have one thing in common. We live in the greatest country in the history of the world. So let's save America.
Let's save America. America. Let's save America. America. Let's save America. Yeah.